And if you don't get new legislation in place, this will be the law. You will be allowed to get MAID for mental illness alone. So there is still some serious urgency.
Good news came out last week for anyone who's been concerned about Canada's plans to extend its eugenics program. I better fix that. Its euthanasia program, known as MAID, to people whose sole qualifying condition is mental illness. After intense debate and testimony, a member committee on medical assistance in dying, which includes Liberal-appointed senators and Liberal and Conservative MPs, overwhelmingly recommended that the federal government indefinitely pause its plans to expand MAID for the mentally ill. But what does that actually mean is likely to occur come March 2027, when the temporary exclusion to MAID for the mentally ill is scheduled to expire? I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and today I bring you an interview with Conservative MP who represents Cloverdale Langley, Tamara Jansen, for more clarity on this important matter.
Conservatives support the committee's recommendation that this expansion be paused indefinitely. This will save thousands of lives. And this is the position that Conservatives have taken from the beginning.
That was Jansen celebrating the committee's decision, and here she is explaining more on how the committee came to making the right call.
The terminology is basically, we can't do this. We can't do this safely. I think the witnesses were very clear during testimony that basically, it's impossible to tell whether or not someone's mental illness is irremediable. And the idea is, the criteria for MAID is that your illness is irremediable. And psychiatrists are all over the map. They disagree with each other on, first of all, diagnoses, and then second of all, on irremediability. If whether or not someone could improve, that there could be a treatment that might work for someone. So that fortunately, that was very, very clear in all of our witness testimony. It has been for years. The Conservatives have been saying this, as well as many witnesses, that this is the case. And so fortunately, at the end of our review, we came to the conclusion that we cannot proceed with MAID for mental illness.
It seems that logic and human decency prevailed in the committee's review, strongly suggesting a curb to the latest expansion plans to the MAID program, which many Canadians still falsely believe only includes the lives of people who have a terminal illness and have explored all avenues of treatment with no avail. In reality, our reports and exclusive documentary, which you can watch at maiddocumentary.com, have exposed just how dark Canada's MAID regime has become. Anything from multiple unsolicited MAID offers to a priest recovering from hip surgery, to veterans struggling with the trauma of serving Canada being offered assistant death instead of support, or 26-year-old Keanu Fabian, for example, having no terminal illness and a documented history of mental health, and despite being declined MAID by multiple physicians, finding BC's Dr. Weeb, who was willing to use his diabetes as a form to have that death behind his family's back. Imagine how many more Canadians would be shocked if MAID for the mentally ill, their loved ones who struggle with, depression or bipolar, are suddenly gone by the hands of the state legally. That is a reality that still could come to fruition next year if something doesn't stop it.
Just because the report that comes out of committee says that we should not go forward, we need to understand that it actually has to be changed in law. So this is just a committee recommendation. It now requires the Liberals to actually make a change to the law, because this is in the criminal code. This will happen March 2027. So the amendment that came from Senate is a sunset clause. And that sunset clause says you have until March 2027 to get new legislation in place. And if you don't get new legislation in place, this will be the law. You will be allowed to get MAID for mental illness alone. So there is still some serious urgency. We do need to get something in place. Otherwise, that sunset clause will expire and that law will be enforced.
That's right. We're not out of the woods yet with the plan for Canada to expand MAID to the vulnerable people who have mental illness. So how do we address it when these recommendations came in just before Parliament recessed for summer? Jansen hopes what's outlined in her Bill C-218, a private member's bill, will be adopted as legislation once Parliament returns, and that citizens will also use their votes over the summer to help ensure their MPs know that's what they want them to do too.
Bill C-218 is ready to go. It's very simple. It's very clean. It says no more mental illness, no more MAID for a mental illness. And we are encouraging them to take a look at that bill. It's already on the go. And we could get it passed very quickly once we get back. So we're really calling on the Liberals to actually take that recommendation and make it into law. Please call your local member of Parliament. I know the Conservatives are all on side, but we need to actually get the Liberals around the table, and all of them agree that we need a clean bill that, as well, what we need them to encourage their local MP is for a review of the actual system as it stands right now. That was one of our recommendations, that there needs to be a review to see whether it's working, whether we need to have more monitoring. We heard witnesses talk about the fact that the safeguards aren't working. And so we're saying, if we can monitor it, if we can actually have a review of what safeguards function, because it's not a safeguard if it's not actually functioning. So call your MP and let them know that that's what you are looking for as well.
And here's another thing you can do. You can raise awareness on what MAID has actually become in Canada by watching and sharing our exclusive documentary exposing just that at maiddocumentary.com.